Right now, there's about 5 investigations going on, forensic audit investigations. And the concern that people have is that there's certain members of council, including the mayor and Councillor Santos, that there's very close people involved with them, that it's involved with them, and so there's allegations of irregularities, and so giving contracts to people close to them, and nothing come out of it. So just to let everybody know what Brampton U is. Brampton U is an initiative that was started probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and it's somebody who's very close to Councillor Santos. $700,000 has been spent. Nothing's come out of it. Even the province doesn't know about it. We need a forensic audit for that. Secondly, there's people involved with Mayor Brown who received contracts, and we want to know what's going on with that. There's some contracts that were given, and the companies were only opened after the fact. So a lot of residents have questions. We're trying to get all the answers out through these investigations, but if the councillors don't show up, we can't talk about it. We can't have a discussion on it. The residents of Brampton don't know what's going on. So why you're here today is because a lot of residents and a lot of the media asked us, hey, what's going on? And we said, hey, there's a pattern. Some of the things that are being alleged are going on here as well. We need those councillors to come to council. We need to have a discussion. And we need to let the people decide.
The other thing I wanted to add on that, hold on. But the other thing I wanted to add on, the Brampton U, the province didn't receive anything coming from the city, so the money was actually spent. We had a staff member come to council. We were asking questions, and she's the one who said she was forced to do certain reports from Councillor Santos and the past CEO, or else she'll be fired. So people cannot come to work in these conditions, being forced to do certain reports. So it's us as a council. We got to take leadership and say this is not right, and this is all how this Brampton U came about in this investigation.
So, Councillor, the main sticking points for the 4 other councillors and the mayor is that you want to put Elaine Moore into that empty seat. If you eliminate Elaine Moore, I'm sure the other 4 councillors and the mayor will come back.
Why don't you give us a name?
Okay. So I'll respond to that. Yeah. So thank you for the question. We have not been adamant. We're open to the discussion. We can't have the discussion outside of council. So if we're not in council to discuss, put forth suggestions. Till this day, I have not heard one reason why Councillor Moore should not be appointed. So that is the discussion. So as of today, if there's other names, if they give a reason why they don't want an ex-councillor who's been a councillor for 30 years, who was a former school trustee, and it's interesting when we hear the mayor talk about his votes, his memberships being disenfranchised for the Conservative Party, his 150,000 memberships. Ward 7 and 8 does not have representation right now. There's not a councillor there. There's people that don't have representation, equal representation as every ward in the city of Brampton. Wards 3 and 4 have 2. Wards 7 and 8 have 1. Wards 9 and 10 have 2. So why doesn't the mayor worry about the disenfranchised and the lack of representation of Ward 7 and 8? And this is the regional council for Ward 7 and 8.
Okay, guys.
This is not a discussion.
If you're gonna,
This is not a debate. It's not a discussion. Thank you.
Don,
We got a question right here.
Go ahead. So, Mr. Saga did the same thing, but 2 retiree. We don't take
Next questions. If there's no further questions.
Maybe you should go back and work over there. Like I don't understand. You're gonna ask a question, you ask the question, we're answering it. But we're giving you an answer.
Is there any other questions?
Maybe you should answer on your show about the real stuff that's going on.
Okay. We know you're instrumental. Okay, listen. We know who you're working for. That's fine.
So
we know you're working for. Is
yeah.
there any other further questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. And I appreciate the time. Yes. Yes. But from who?
We're not covering up.
Guys, this is a non. So one thing. So the one thing I would like to give an example. This type of question, and I know who the Bramptons is affiliated with. The one thing I will say, members of council for the last 2 years, when we started standing up to all the wrongdoings that have been at the city, we've been bullied, we've been attacked on social media anonymously, social media has been attacked, they've instrumentalized groups to go against us. All we want is the truth to come out. Always we want is someone to come forward. All we want is the truth to come out, and for the city of Brampton, that the residents of Brampton get the proper representation they
We're
get.
talking about today. You're talking
So
about going
I
back and
thank you
forth.
very much. If there's any
Well,
further
you should
questions,
do that on your show.
please let go.
You should
Thank
do
you.
that on your show. Talk
Thank you
about
very much.
Brampton U. You should do that on your show on Brampton
guys.
U
Thank you.
and risk insurance and the other scandals.
ਸਿਟੀ ਹਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੀ ਅੱਜ ਪ੍ਰੈਸ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਹੁਣ 5 ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰਸ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਕੱਲ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਜੋ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਰਿਲੇਟਡ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਾਫੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਮੀਡੀਆ ਨੇ ਅਪਰੋਚ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਵਾਬ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਆ ਸੋ ਕਈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਇਨਵੈਸਟੀਗੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੋ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਰਿਲੇਟਡ ਨੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਥ ਜਿਹੜੇ 4 ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰਸ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਸ਼ੋ ਅਪ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਉਹ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੋ ਫੋਰੈਂਸਿਕ ਆਡਿਟਸ ਰਿਲੇਟਡ ਟੂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟਸ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਗਏ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਲੋਜ਼ allegedly ਆਪਣੇ ਕਲੋਜ਼ ਰਿਲੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਫੋਰ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਸੈਂਟੋਸ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੁਰਾਣੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਫੈਸਰ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈਲਪ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੰਟਰੈਕਟਸ ਮਿਲੇ ਆ $7 ਲੱਖ ਦੇ ਸੋ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਇਸ਼ੂਜ਼ ਫੋਰ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਮੇਅਰ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਨੇ ਕੈਂਪੇਨਿੰਗ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ allegedly ਆਪਣੇ EMPLOYEES ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਿਟੀ ਪੇਡ ਨੇ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨਸ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਹੈਗੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਇਨਵੈਸਟੀਗੇਸ਼ਨਸ ਹੋਣੀਆਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਕਈ ਚੱਲਦੀਆਂ ਪਈਆਂ ਨੇ ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਕਲੀਅਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਅੱਜ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਿਹਾ ਹਾਊ ਇਟਸ ਰਿਲੇਟਡ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਕਾਉਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਓ ਸਿਟੀ ਦਾ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਸਾਰਾ ਹੁਣ ਫਰੀਜ਼ ਹੋਇਆ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਾਂ ਤੁਰਨ ਡਿਆ and we encourage them to do so.
Yeah, I'm just over here. You'll have to know, I'm one of the deputy mayors, Pat 14 for Ward 7 and 8. You know, we've seen what happens with the leadership, and we've been getting a lot of media questions. So we decided to bring everyone together and answer any questions they had. At this moment, you know, the city's on a standstill. We didn't have 4 council meetings. Councillors are not showing up. We got planning applications. We're on a house crisis. We got so much economical development. People recuperating from COVID, businesses, and we can't make decisions. And they don't show up. I know there's a traditional review, but until this time, they could have brought forward in council a different name. Nobody brought anything forward. It's the fairest thing to do is put a retiree. Mississauga did the same thing. So they're bringing names forward, people that want to run elections. And I find it's very unfair if you're going to put someone to run an election and give them an edge. So that's where, so thank you.
Hi, I'm Martin Maderos, Deputy Mayor, City of Brampton. Today we're here because we've had a lot of concerns regarding financial mismanagement, forensic audits at the City of Brampton. And unfortunately what's happened transpired with our mayor who's ran for a federal position. And you know, unfortunately we've had negative repercussions on the city's image on what's happening at the city. And today we want to clear the air as 4 councillors who've been fighting to bring transparency and accountability to the City of Brampton. Well, I want people to know what's happening at the City of Brampton. Be engaged. Do understand what's happening. Do not, I want residents, when the upcoming election in October, find out the way your councillors have voted, if they're standing up for Brampton, if they're bringing transparency, and if they make sure that the city is working for them and working for the families of Brampton.
What is the main corruption that you are focusing on?
Well, we have a lot of concerns about financial misproprieties and financial management at the city. So forensic audit means there was monies that were spent on consultants. We don't know where the work has gone. A lot of these consultants are affiliated with, be it some members of council, and we want a full investigation to bring transparency to the residents of Brampton.
So there is no investigation as such at the moment?
No, there is. There's 5 forensic audits happening right now on various initiatives at the city, and also there's various investigations on RFPs, basically requests for proposals that somewhat were skewed. So there's a lot of things coming out, and we're just frustrated. Instead of us moving the city business, today we should be in council. It should not be a cancelled council. So all the business development, everything that we should be doing for the city, we're here on the steps of the city instead of being in council chambers.
Out of the 5 investigations that are going on, which one is the most?
Well, the most troubling in my mind is Brampton University. So Brampton University, you have a consultant who was affiliated, was a professor of one of the councillors, Councillor Santos, and this professor, as a consultant, billed the city of Brampton for travel before he even got a contract with the city. So he was awarded a contract, but he billed accommodation, travel from the UK to come to Brampton, assuming he would win the contract. Then on another individual, you have someone who's working on Mayor Brown's leadership campaign, who is involved, Godfrey, and Paul Godfrey works on his campaign, and he was a consultant that received over $500,000 to lobby the provincial government for the city of Brampton. Today, we don't have any reports or anything what has been done with that money.
What about the next investigation, the second most important
Well, the other investigation, so we have the forensic audit, and we have another one, forensic audit regarding expenditures and RFPs in terms of consultants that were being used. For example, one was to build a development corporation. So you had a consultant who wasn't specialized from Niagara, part of, I guess, with connections with folks that came from Niagara, and they received consulting contracts to give advice on a development corporation. So we're looking at all these consultant fees, which really haven't produced nothing for the city of Brampton and has produced a lot of concern.
Have you ever tried to contact these consultants?
Yeah, our staff have reached out to ask for information. So right now we've put it to a third party, and we wait for the results to come back.
Do you have anything to show to the public?
Whatever's been in council, there's public documents and there's been public discussions, and members of public can go on the internet and get all the information based on the council meetings. But I expect all the information and all the findings be made public.
Is there anything which is on the website of the council that is?
There should be, yes, I believe there is on the ongoing investigations. That would be on the website. Let's go.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much, sir, for taking the time out to speak with us. We want to ask you, what do you have to say as a response to the people that were gathered here today who were throwing these malicious allegations against you?
So, obviously, there is a divide on City Council. There is a group led by Councillor Dillon who engaged in behavior that the other half of Council, including myself, believe is inappropriate. The Integrity Commissioner found Councillor Dillon guilty of allegations of sexual harassment. He appealed the Integrity Commissioner's decision, and it went to the Ontario courts, and the Integrity Commissioner's decision was upheld. While I was away on this leadership campaign, Councillor Dillon led the charge to fire the Integrity Commissioner. This was wrong. She should not be held, she should not be treated this way simply for doing her job and exposing a wrongdoing. And right now, Councillor Dillon is trying to appoint a friend as a councillor, so this firing won't be investigated. But we need to look into it. There is now a lawsuit from our former Integrity Commissioner based on this improper firing, and we want to get to the bottom of it. We want to know why this was done, why it's important, why it's inappropriate, and we don't want Councillor Dillon blocking this investigation.
How far has this investigation progressed? What stage are you in right now?
Well, because right now there is a loggerhead at Council 5-5, we can't start the investigation.
Okay.
And there's a recording. Councillor Dillon's misdeeds are recorded, where his behavior was clearly recorded to be inappropriate, and the Integrity Commissioner should not be fired for simply doing the right thing.
Okay. Do you feel defamed as these allegations are severely affecting your image and your leadership?
So, you know, obviously, on a federal level, I feel the Conservative Party was wrong to disqualify my campaign. We know where it's coming from. It's coming from the Pierre Poilievre campaign. They're using their influence in the party to eliminate opposition, and that's not good for democracy.
Why is all of this playing out publicly? Why could this not be solved internally? Why is it now a scandal almost?
That's Canadian politics. It's out there in the open, and we all have an opportunity to articulate our concerns.
Okay. And any last words to the people of Brampton who are going through a gamut of emotions right now, not knowing who to trust, or the leadership that they appointed, if they're having second thoughts?
So listen, I've heard a lot of people express their disappointment with the behavior of some of these councillors, but they'll have an opportunity. There's going to be an election in the fall, and they'll have an opportunity to renew the mandate of councillors or to pick new ones.
Thank you so much, sir.